I don't even do you guys know who David Vesquio is? I saw the tweet. It says he's an actor, screenwrite.
No, what?
Okay, okay, this has to do with the toilets.
Okay.
I don't. So if we don't know who he is, then how the hell could maybe this is all hearsay? But if it is just rumor,
is he verified? What did he? I don't know.
I have no idea. This is why I'm trying to identify the source. This was on Barstool Sports.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
so exactly but he scholarly resource.
Vesquio, David Vescio tweets about legitimate concerns that companies and corporations are going to make toilets 13 degrees pitched downward, thus making them less comfortable, thus making your legs fall asleep, and you only get to enjoy yourself doing a number 2 at work for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I saw the reason I trust him is I trust a good diagram, and on the actual story, there's a diagram of a man sitting on a shitter with it at the 13-degree sloped angle. I got to tell you though, when I saw the diagram, I thought maybe that might be a more comfortable way to take a shit, and I'll tell you why. Because as a short man, okay, here we go. When my last job, there were 2 sets of toilets, and in the men's room, the toilet for some reason sat about 4 inches higher than the one in the women's room. So I always went to the women's room because if I was in the men's room, my toes would kind of just barely wisp the floor while I was trying to take a shit.
That's uncomfortable.
If you've ever had to just hover on your ass cheeks and try to take a dump, the body just shuts down. And so for me, if my heels can touch the floor, I can do more. So I'm actually like, I'm championing this thing.
It.
I feel like I'd be pushing myself into the toilet a little bit and just like power dumping. I never find it comfortable. I know that he was bitching about it like, that's where I get my 15-minute break. I don't know. I've never found it comfortable to take the shit as the break. You know, like why not just go find a different place to hide?
Well, everyone's workplace is different. Yeah. I will say your take on this is the exception to the rule.
Good take.
That's ridiculous, though. Come on, I'm like, all right, I don't know. I want to check the source of this, but if in fact
he's like a legitimate person and he's got a verified Twitter, but I don't know how real this is.
13. I mean, this is you got to do this countrywide. How many?
Plus, like, won't you get like?
Did you do this for women too?
Like. I mean, yeah. It actually probably affects them more. I stand fucking like 90% of my bathroom interactions at work.
That's right.
So, yeah. I'm not a big work shitter. It's not my thing. But I'm pretty regular, I'm at home typically when the urge comes. So, like, things like that. But, shit, I lost my train of thought. I had something to say and then I completely lost it.
13 degrees. Yeah. You said he's a legitimate person.
Yeah, he's a legitimate person. I found him on Twitter. I mean, he's verified. Okay. But I don't know how real that is. Also, that's what I was going to say. Like, I don't think you could do this because, like, besides it helping short people, which I'm short and I don't know. I don't really ever have any issues with getting myself planted to drop a deuce in most toilets. Also, I have very many questions as to how you know that the women's toilet is 4 inches shorter than
because that's
men's.
where I went. That's where I went.
Yeah, but you would have had to find that out.
Yeah, you would have to go. Would you take a leap of faith?
Yeah, like what did you send a recon unit in? Was it just some broads?
I sent myself in because I have no shame. Okay, this is
such a noble infantryman here.
This is a functional problem, and I will go find a solution by any means necessary. And if I've got to stumble into a women's room and dance across a few tampon wrappers, I'm going to go do it.
I mean, I've gone to the women's room. That's not.
What logic did you use to dictate at least a generalized curiosity to check the women's room?
Because I figure women are shorter than men for the most part, on average. Like your tallest woman at a workplace is probably about 5'8", which is about an inch taller than what I stand. And so I was like, okay, hold on. You know what? This is bullshit. A toilet my feet in America shouldn't be dangling from the floor while I'm trying to take a dump.
Well, then I call shenanigans because you're 3 inches taller than me. So fuck off. I can touch the ground everywhere I poop. Where are you
Alan,
pooping?
I'm telling you, I don't know if maybe they got this at the Surplus Big and Tall toilet shop.
You'll never know the difference.
They got it at Ollie's.
2 for 1.
Ollie's bargain outlet.
It was what do they call the shirts? The imperfect shirts at Ollie's.
Fuck, I forget.
The neckline's a little high.
Yeah, that was the shit that you got at like the Ocean City outlets.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Fucking like cross stitch. Like here,
again,
like why?
I can't justify why I didn't make the toilet. I don't know where they got it, but it was there, and I remember being so pissed off about it. And so I was like, the women's room can't be like this. There's no way that they got to sit down for everything. There's no way they made this uncomfortable for them. I went in there, and have you ever stumbled into a workplace women's room? Just go check it out.
Well, I actually have a really good story about doing that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Tell.
Yeah.
Right. So it's debatable whether or not it's workplace because I was there on an interview, but I did get hired by that company.
Okay.
Within a week, so
yeah, it counts.
Does that count?
We'll count it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where I had the interview, I thought it was going to be 30 minutes. Took about 60. At about the 49 to 50 minute mark, I was like, "Whoop. Oh God!" And got through the last 10 minutes and segued to a restroom and didn't bother to check. And saddled up and uncorked one. And the reason I know this is because 2 people came in, and usually in an empty bathroom when I'm doing that, I'm on alert. And two women came in, and I heard the voices. I was like, "What the hell?" And realized, it was a women's room, and someone said, "Oh my God, someone let a stinky up in here." And the other woman said, "Oh, it smells worse than Ray's." Ugh. Some poor husband caught the wrath.
Got shit talked about him.
Well, yeah. Ray, there was a woman in the bathroom who pooped worse than you. Yeah.
They still talk about it. They try to figure out who it is.
Who it was. Who was the foul?
Who was the foul female?
Well, the difference between my workplace, men's room and women's room, is our men's room got cleaned about once a month. There was always shit stains on the sides of the toilet. There was just dim lighting that flickered in there. And then you go to the women's room. And I swear to God, as soon as you crack the door, Beethoven starts playing. There's like an elegant, painted picture on the wall. There's like a fake potted plant in the corner. The toilet paper roll is perfect and flipped over the right way. It smells wonderful in there. There's a book of matches right next to the sink so that you can, if you do drop a shit and it stinks, you can get that nice little sulfur burn going in there. And the toilet sat 4 inches lower than the men's room. And so that was the place to go. However, I went there so much that eventually there was a sign on the door that said, "Women's room. Don't you read the sign?" And there was an arrow pointed up to the women's sign. And so it was like permanently banned.
Damn,
but I
who
used to get to work at, I don't know who well, probably my turd that fucking that the match didn't quite cut through probably ratted me out.
So did you stop using it?
No, I didn't stop using it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just got a little more, I had to do the shoulder look before I went in, and I did that every time.
the Mr. Rooney. Huh? I have another. I taught at an all boys school.
Yeah.
I think most of you know this, and with female teachers being there, they had to have female restrooms.
But it was unused, basically.
Well, no, there was a fair amount of women teachers. You had to have, and I joking. There were 3 that were in my section of the school that taught, all relatively young, so we got along. I mean, I was like 24, and I think they were like in their late 20s, early 30s. They were like friendly, and I had jokingly said I was one day going to take a dump in there and not flush the toilet. I was like, I'm going to go in there and leave y'all a surprise. And they was like, no. Well, some punk kid did.
And they thought it was
And they thought it was me. It was the boy who cried wolf, man. They like show up in tandem like Charlie's fucking angels at my door. You did it, you son of a bitch. Like, no.
I was like, I did not.
Take me to it. I'll prove it.
That's a good one, though.
I can figure out. I can spot mine from a mile away.
Nice.
But since we're talking about toilets, I do want to run something by you guys. Okay, Wes, you're what? You're 6 foot?
6'0", yeah.
6'0". Thank you for confirming.
5 foot
Alan,
12.
you said so. Alan, you're 5'4" then.
Yeah, I am 5'4".
Okay, now, Alan, I'm hoping that you and I have the same perspective on this. You've been to a men's room, and there's usually minimum of 2 urinals, correct?
Yeah.
And one tends to sit higher than the other.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced a time where you've gone to the higher urinal and, maybe your balls want to kind of dangle and touch the porcelain every now and again?
I mean, yes. I don't allow that to happen. But yes.
Okay, so can we all agree that it's a lot easier to pee down than it is to pee up?
Yeah.
So what do you recommend?
So can we not? I recommend leaving all of the urinals at a lower setting than the higher setting. Like, you're discriminating against folks like me, and I always get pissed when I see assholes like you 6'0" people using the small urinal because it's at the designated spot in the room where you're supposed to go so you don't look gay because, I got to go to the one furthest from the door. And so you're using the small one, and then my balls have to touch just piss-stained yellow porcelain because you guys are too much of a cocksucker to use the one that's designated for you. Can't we just make them all designated for everybody and put them low?
Those are currently designated for handicapped people. So we're both wrong when we use it. All right. So let's keep that in mind.
Touche.
All right. They're not for kids, for handicapped people. Maybe for
I'm
kids,
handicapped in America, okay? Alan and I are handicapped in America.
That's true.
We sit lower than the 5'10" ratio. We need our own special urinal.
You said
I'm a big fan of
you did say Captain America.
I'm a big fan of the elementary school down to the floor urinal.
All the way down?
Yeah, just give me that. We're good.
Here's another... man. Okay. We'll get back to it. Okay, Ravens games and like a lot of other places have those ones where you pretty much got to show your dick to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. I can get over those, but at Ravens games, when you walk in, there's always that single one to the left where you got to show every dude your dick.
Yeah.
And while you're pissing. That at least give me one cover there.
There.
Like, that's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
That's it. I try. I mean, not that I care. It's just it's like I definitely prefer not to go to that one.
Yeah.
I've been to trough bathrooms.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wrigley Field.
Yeah, you'd see them in England a bunch.
Yeah.
At soccer stadiums and stuff.
Well, here's what I was going to tell you. Apparently, Fox News printed this thing out where you can now. It was a single place of employment where a boss could administer a sniff test. So if they figured that you were in the bathroom for too long, and you could say, I'm just using the bathroom. It took 15, 20 minutes. They can go in and sniff to verify that it was still fresh.
Yeah, nah.
Nah.
I'm not good with that.
I gotta tell you,
Plus,
though,
I would flip out. Go ahead.
Haven't we all had that 1% poop where like it flies out of your ass and there's no smell and you wipe and you're confused?
Yeah. There's that.
Haven't we all had that?
There's
so how can that?
Eddie Murphy joke about that.
Right.
In what was it, Raw?
Yeah.
When he's talking about how he did stand up like Richard Pryor. He's like, and you're struggling, and that one little pebble shit come out. That's all the shit I'm gonna get, motherfucker.
That's good. No, I just think you're gonna have a tough time. It's kind of any type of crime, especially when it comes to suing, like a civil case, when you have to prove some sort of thing that's kind of tough to prove. You don't have the facts, you don't have the evidence, you have the idea, but to prove it. And I feel like this is the type of case where, like, okay, prove that my poop stinks.
Yeah, you don't know that I don't eat rose petals exclusively, bitch.
Yeah, prove it.
Exactly.
I'm not giving you samples.
Yeah, you prove that shit.
But you know what? Back to the actual story itself, where they want to put uncomfortable toilets in because people are abusing their bathroom time. Wouldn't it be just easier and more affordable to fire the dick bags that are spending 15 to 20 to 30 minutes in the bathroom than to try to install new age toilets that makes everybody like hate life and want to go home to take a shit in the first place? Like everybody knows that coworker who, what is it? Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I poop on company time. Everybody knows that asshole, and they should be punched in the face before you get a toilet that makes you do a permanent squat thrust while you're trying to shoot shit out your asshole.
Dude, this is they're almost taking the public school approach to this. You know, like just basically make the toilet paper so hard to get and make the doors open at will. I don't know. I mean, was it like this at Mount St. Joe's? I don't know. Perryville, by the time I got to be a junior, senior, I remember people saying they'd go to the office.
Oh, here's a question. No. Okay, Alan, I think you and I probably fit in the same category here. Okay. How many shits did you take in high school in the public in the bathrooms?
I mean, a fair amount, I think. Fuck. That's a very specific question. I feel like...
Here's the thing. By the time I was a junior, I was on such a regimented schedule. Every day, about 35 to 45 minutes after lunch, I'd go. Every single day.
Yeah, see, like, I'm regular like that now.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking clockwork.
I should be regular like that now.
I took... one
Jesus,
in my entire my entire 4 years of high school. I took one shit at school, and it was in the Wes will know this. It was in the locker room down by the showers, because very few people actually use the showers, because we got it was the pre-Me Too movement, but it was like the showers probably hadn't been run in like 3 years up to that point.
Yeah.
And it was before like a Northeast game under the lights, and it had just been all day, and I couldn't. There was no way my body was able to contain it anymore.
No, yeah, I mean, ours weren't that bad. I went to a private school though, so I mean, we got that private school money. So yeah, our doors worked. Like everything was generally old, but I mean, it was acceptable for shitting in.
Yeah.
And we had it was like a campus, like a college campus. So there was like, I don't know, like 8 or 9 different buildings or some shit. So there was like secret nooks and crannies with like good, like the development office, which was just like the fucking guy who wrote the alumni newsletter and like the broad who solicits alumni for fucking money. Like they had 2 bathrooms all to themselves. Fucking blew those up. They were just below the cafeteria. Like, yeah, no one used them.
I ain't telling anybody about this.
I think they had like Charmin like double quilted in there, like they brought their own shit because nobody used it except for me.
I feel I went to an AAU tournament at Lake Clifton when I was in high school, and I remember I had my stuff on me, didn't come fully dressed, and then went in there, and there's like no doors. I was like, well, shit, I need to get to my compression shorts, and
I get the balls out.
I was like, well, whatever. I mean, no one was in there at the point, so I said, fuck, I did it. But what it made me think was like a lot of schools, like the late 90s and the early 2000s, and maybe even before that, they were ripping those fuckers out. I think it was like where people couldn't smoke, but it was probably people doing other shit in there as well.
Yeah.
But it used to kill me that because Elkton didn't have stall doors, and it was because people smoked, and I thought they really can't contain the problem. The problem
they just gotta rip doors.
Rip doors off, and now some schmuck who has a bowel movement in the middle of the day to make himself a little more comfortable for some fucking algebra class he doesn't want to be in, has to take a poop in front of all of his friends.
Yeah, I mean, the only real thing that I ran into was, I mean, they're fucking stall doors, and he didn't have the fucking floor to ceiling bad boys or anything like that, and it was a school full of fucking teenage boys. So I mean, those little fucking locks got kicked in daily, but for the most part, maintenance kept up with them, and they did lock later on, but they would get kicked in quite frequently.
They probably had like a good like a good like preseason like tally. Like
Yeah.
like, all right, we need to get about 600 spares.
I like to think that they just had a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket full of locks. And they just reached in and like, well, broke another one. Bloop.
And a pit crew that put it back together.
Yeah. Because I mean, now that I think of it, all the locks were very shiny. So I'm assuming they were mostly new.
Right.
By the way, just thinking of smoking in the boys' room. When I was a freshman, Jeremy Justice was a senior, and he looked like a young James Hetfield. And I walked in there one day, and he was hotboxing a cigarette, and he looked at me. He was like, "You cool?" And then he throws the cigarette in the toilet. And I was like, yeah, man." Obviously, I didn't tell on him. So the next day, I'm walking through the halls, and somebody's talking shit to me, and he comes up and he forearms me. He's like, "You talking shit to him?" And then he looked at me. He's like, "You cool?" And then that was it. Nobody fucked with me my freshman year after that.
Dude, nothing is quite the same as like 13-year-old freshman you looking at like 18-year-old kind of already grown man fucking senior, and you're just like, how are we in the same fucking life phase right now? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Division I athletes and shit.
And
just
then to have the females that are within your range to look up to those guys. Oh my God, he's so beautiful, so sexy.
And you're like, yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. He's I think he smokes though.
Smoking's for losers. Dopes for dopes.
You remember that from Dare last year?
Oh my God.
Well, good. All right, so we're all against 13 degrees, except for Murr Sport.
Well, also, I meant to bring this up to Murr since we're on the toilet subject. Let's just round this out nicely. Yeah. You know what toilets really chap my ass are not the tall toilets, because I don't really think that that's a thing, but long toilets. You ever see the long fucking toilet bowl that you see at like a mall or something? It's like the super turbo suck fucking or fucking toilet. Yeah, those are the ones that fucking get me, because like what fucking 6'7" monster could sit all the way back on the 3-foot toilet and put his feet on the ground?
Right.
Like, it's insanity. Those get me, because I'll have to like sit on the edge of the toilet to make sure my feet touch the ground, and then it's a fucking weird thing.
That might be more of what okay, the toilet, I'm telling you, the toilet was like 2 inches taller than a regular toilet, and it was that monster, like deep, long thing. Yeah. The other thing I hate about what Alan's talking about is the front of the bowl is super shallow. Oh. It's narrow, and it's like, okay, and if on a good day, I'm not trying to elevate myself here by any means. On a good day, Captain Howdy wants to dip down a little bit sometimes, and like my biggest fear is like catching like every disease ever brought over by Cortez when my dick touches the top of the porcelain.
So I'll tell you something really embarrassing that is, now that you bring that very specific portion of long toilet bowls up, that it has happened to me. I haven't gone into females' bathrooms and things, but that same thing happened. So the bowl's a little shallow, and like you're trying to position the boys to not really just be sitting on the porcelain. And I guess I didn't realize it, but like the way that I had everything positioned as I was dropping my deuce and urinating at the same time, it was flying through the gap between the seat and the porcelain, and I pissed all over my pants, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!"
Does it work?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So like I didn't really think anything of it, because I heard urine hitting porcelain, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds normal." Like it didn't. I didn't feel weird, but then I pulled my pants up, and I was like, "Oh, God damn it!"
Wow.
Yeah, and how does one explain that? Just like I did.
Gotcha. There's a story.
You are not alone.
See? Maybe it is. Maybe it's a 6 foot and under issue.
Yeah. I can't say I've done that, but damn, now I feel for you. Now, yeah, so 13 degrees lower, you guys.
Yeah, but see, that same toilet, you probably sat further back because you could reach the ground. And it was a moot point.
So it's not well, see, they're doing this for employee comfort.
Yeah.
You guys are what you guys are saying is that there's room for overall reform.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
So let's write a letter. Who do we send this to?
Who makes toilets? American Standard.
Bill Gates is trying to give toilets to Africa. I say let's start at home.
let's
Scott Boris might help us out.
There are industries that you think are perfected, but they aren't.
There was a really good Curb Your Enthusiasm bit where with Leon was explaining to Larry that he needed to buy clothing for where men's penises are big.
Oh shit!
I missed that. Well, boys,